we need this? Not really. Okay. Yeah, they might be mad if I just screamed at y'all all night without the microphone. How was that, by the way? I heard you talking about it. I was not eavesdropping, but damn, it looks good. That's not the stack of potato chips you were talking about, was it? Okay. That sounds delicious. Well, my name's Tyler McCollum, guys. I grew up north of here in Conroe, and I live over out in Austin and New Braunfels in that wacky part of Texas. But man, thank y'all for having me at the Mucky Duck. We play a lot of really loud bars all the time, so when I get to just kind of sit and talk and actually hang out, I really enjoy it. And I'll tell you what, y'all ever heard of a guy named Todd Snyder? I'd like to do a song by Todd Snyder if y'all don't mind if I start one with those. I got a dusty old pile of vinyl records sitting on my floor. I've played each one of them over and over and a dozen times or more. Now all I've got is a beat-up chair, mattress, a fork, and another to spare. And that dusty old pile of records on my floor. But I got a Willie Whalen and a Woody Guthrie, Jimmy Buffett, I love it, and a Bobby Gentry, Jerry Jeff, Bob Dylan, Donnie Fritz, and the Dead, the Doors, Patsy Cline, John Prine, and more. I've got Jackson Brown, Towns, Van Zandt, Zeppelin, Skinner, Harry Chafin, Guy Clark, Van Halen, Rita, Chris, Keith Sykes, and Country Joe when he was singing with the Fish. You know, I got Emmy Lou, U2, and Arlo, James Taylor, Jimmy Rogers, Hank Williams, Mojo, and Nixon, Hendrix, Haggard, and a whole lot more. I got all the Booker T's and Tom T. Halls, Bobby Bear, Belafonte, and the New York Dolls, Jimmy Kiss, Kiss, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, John June, and a Roseanne Cash. In that old pile of vinyl records I got sitting on my floor. One time in San Francisco, I was standing in the airport line. One bag I had all my clothes and the other was them old records of mine. The lady said I could only bring one bag, but I had two bags. What a drag, I had to jump on the plane, leave all my clothes behind. But I got a Willie Whalen and a Woody Guthrie, Jimmy Buffett, I love it, and a Bobby Gentry, Jerry Jeff, Bob Dylan, Donnie Fritz, and the Dead, the Doors, Patsy Cline, John Prine, and more. I've got Jackson Brown, Towns, Van Zandt, Zeppelin, Skinner, Harry Chafin, Guy Clark, Van Halen, Rita, Chris, Keith Sykes, and Country Joe when he was singing with the Fish. You know, I got Emmy Lou, U2, and Arlo, James Taylor, Jimmy Rogers, Hank Williams, Mojo, and Nixon, Hendrix, Haggard, and a whole lot more. I got all the Booker T's and Tom T. Halls, Bobby Bear, Belafonte, and the New York Dolls, Jimmy Kiss, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, John June, and a Roseanne Cash. I got Forwards from Holt, Stevie Ray, the T-Birds, Yardbirds, Sam and Dave. Some of y'all might have guessed already. I got piles and piles and piles of Tom Petty. In that dusty old pile of vinyl records I got sitting on my floor. Somebody asked me how I learned that song one time. I said, I really don't remember. I was in college somehow, and I heard it one time, and I played it, and it's just one of those things that just stuck. And if you asked me to write it down, I could not do it. I'd like to play a song that I wrote years ago. I went to school out at a college in Stephenville, Texas, called Tarleton, and I learned about this song's about a woman back in the Prohibition era, and she didn't really make the history books, which is weird. She ran, as the legend goes, she ran more bootleg whiskey than any man in the United States of America, right? And back then, if you think about that, that's a hard thing to do as a man. That's a damn hard thing to do as a woman, right? Back then, that was a man's game. And she, unbeknownst to the history books, moved more barrels of bootleg liquor than almost anybody in the United States. And I heard that story one time, and I was like, man, that's just such an amazing underdog story, you know. And I wrote this song from the perspective of kind of the last patron sitting at her bar the day they repealed Prohibition, kind of just being too stubborn to go drink anywhere else. She had stuck with him through the hard times, so he was going to kind of stick with her. And I call this Prohibition Rose. Prohibition Rose sat on a counter with a long day and a downer. Where's the money go this time of year? It'd been a long day down the ladder. The ray of sun sure wouldn't matter, but you could see the pain and tear in her eyes. And she said, well, I've paid the sheriff, I've paid the beggar, lights in the street and that old bootlegger. Well, I'm filling people's wild and sinful dreams. But where's the satisfaction for a girl like me? Running with the light of day, sleight of hand played out to pay, and a look and a wink left all her boys in the dark. What a man would do to have her, what the man would do to catch her, and oh, a cold life all this could be. I say, Rose, won't you keep on coming to me? She said, well, I've paid the sheriff, I've paid the beggar, the lights in the street and that old bootlegger. Well, I'm filling people's wild and sinful dreams. But where's the satisfaction for a girl like me? Just what became of old Miss Rose. So I say, Rose, won't you keep on coming to me? She said, well, I've paid the sheriff, I've paid the beggar, the lights in the street and that old bootlegger. Well, I'm filling people's wild and sinful dreams. Oh, but where's the satisfaction? Honey, where's that satisfaction? Oh, where's the satisfaction for a girl like me? Thank you, guys. Can I get a little less vocal on that monitor, if that's okay? How about a Robert Earl Keen song? We might do a couple of those tonight, I'm not gonna lie. This is one of my favorite ones by him. This is called Ride. One day after 25 years, head of service at the local Sears, Helen Walker put her pencil down, she walked away. All she left was a little note, adios was all she wrote. But as she was leaving, someone heard her say, I'm gonna buy me a ticket to the end of the line, gonna feel the air and breathe breathe that countryside. Well, as long as those wheels keep rolling, I'll be satisfied. I'm gonna ride, ride, oh ride. One day I was down at Joe's. He was mopping up, getting ready to close. He sat down and he poured me one more brew. He looked at me with a sideways glance, said, if I ever get the chance, gonna sell this joint, and this is what I'll do. I'm gonna buy me a ticket to the end of the line, gonna feel the air and breathe that countryside. Well, as long as those wheels keep rolling, I'll be satisfied. I'm gonna ride, ride, oh ride. I wish that I could stay in this little town till my dying day, but in my heart I know I gotta go. So I'm sitting at the station waiting on a train, don't know when I'll be back again. Mr. Engineer, you let that whistle blow. I'm gonna buy me a ticket to the end of the line, gonna feel the air and breathe that countryside. Well, as long as those wheels keep rolling, I'll be satisfied. I'm gonna ride, ride, oh ride. I'm gonna ride, ride, mama, ride. Cheers, you guys. How's y'all's day been since we're just here talking? Good? Anybody have anything exciting happen today? It stopped raining where I live. That's what's exciting. I'll play a little this is an old country song I wrote years ago about a relationship that I got out of, but it took a while to quit. I'll put it that way. And this is kind of about keep going back to that person you're in love with that you know you shouldn't keep going back to, but you just keep going back to that person and finally figuring out how to get out of it. But this is called Passing Through. It ain't much, but it ain't bad. The best peace of mind you ever had. You know better than me that it's pulling on you. You got an old heartstring that's come unwound, round and round till it taught you how to pick it all up and keep it all right in time. How did you expect me to hold on to that heart that was never in the room? I did not call to talk about tomorrow. I'm just seeing if you're home. I'm passing through. Well, once again we go round, turning up the same old frowns. Oh, the nights I've spent thinking about you. Well, you can close your eyes and hide behind things that do not remind you of all the things that we've been through. How did you expect expect me to hold on to a heart that was never in the room. I did not call to talk about tomorrow, just seeing if you're home. I'm a passing through. The highway gives me time to sink into my thoughts, so I can't think. And one more night with you's worth all the pain. But it don't matter what we say, it's just the past, the same old way. Now don't make no mistake, I'm still moving on. Well, how did you expect me to hold on to a heart that was never in the room? I did not call to talk about tomorrow, I'm just seeing if you're home. I just wanna know if you're home. Sooner than later I'll be gone, I'm a passing through. I should probably drink more whiskey than water tonight, I believe. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do a song. This one goes out to my mom. She lives up in Fort Worth, and I was in college one time, and I was sitting there thinking, I was at that point in my life where you go from being a know-it-all to realizing you probably don't know as much as you think you do. And I called my mom for something very basic that day, like cooking a chicken or something like that. I don't know what it was, but something I should have known to do at that age. And I was sitting down and I was just like, I think it's time to start taking a little deep breath and asking more questions and giving advice. And I wrote this song for her, and this is called Learn to Fly. And I don't think it's in that key. I think it's in this key. We'll figure it out. To left me a striped fence, to me this all does not make sense. What's two when all you need is one? Who's to blame for the empty gun if all tears fall from the sky? Why do they fall from your eyes and leave a sparkle that you see in dreams? What's to come when the grass don't turn green? It's running fast, I cannot slow. Sitting wondering where I'll go, drifting heading glazy eyes. Hold me mama as I learn to fly on my own. If it tastes too good, it could be a lie. You ain't the apple of your mama's eye. Who needs the moon for the light? Flip the switch and we're back to life. Now what's in the air and who's on the seas? And who's the pretty girl glaring at me? Why is the sun shining off her hair? Why now do I seem to care? It's running fast, I cannot slow. Sitting wondering where I'll go, drifting heading glazy eyes. Hold me mama as I learn to fly on my own. Shake a left or take a right and hope that there's no one inside. Do shadows really dance and gleam? They all look pretty damn dark to me. If time's the only thing we say we're in, then why we fight until a bitter end? Cashing in everything we know. Does dying rich determine where we go? It's running fast, I cannot slow. Sitting wondering where I'll go. Drifting, heading, glazy eyes. Hold me, mama, as I learn to fly. Hold me, mama, as I learn to fly on my own. Well, thank you kindly, y'all. Y'all mind if I do something I just started writing? Is that okay with y'all? Okay. There was a point in my life where I thought I was going to be single forever. And finding somebody that to spend the rest of your life with is not an easy thing to do, as a lot of people know. It's very tough. And there was a point in my life where I was like, you know what? Maybe I just wasn't meant for it. I was like, maybe I was just meant to spend my 80 to 100 just hanging out by myself, you know? And fortunately, that did not turn out that way. And so, but during that period, I wrote this song kind of reminiscing on all those ideas that I had for what my life was going to be compared to what it ended up being as far as being in love. And I guess right now this is called Won't Run Out of Love. I was gonna live alone, I was gonna do it right, living life like an outlaw, one day at a time, like an old Lone Ranger, before the lines were drawn. I would never be leaving, 'cause I would never be gone. I was gonna live alone, yeah, I was gonna do it right. Now it's 2 cold cups of coffee, 'cause we just could not get enough. We might run out of years, but we won't run out of love. Spending all of my money, no matter where I went. Every year around Christmas, the only tear I'd shed, just a drifting heart, more blue than red, laying down every evening in a half-made bed, spending all of my money everywhere I went. Now it's 2 cold cups of coffee, 'cause we just could not get enough. We might run out of years, but we won't run out of love. Darling, please don't take the words I'm singing as a sin, but a man just needs to think on all the places that he's been. Tomorrow in the kitchen when the sun comes through the trees, 2 chairs on the same side with the one in between. Now it's 2 cold cups of coffee, 'cause we just could not get enough. We might run out of years, but we won't run out of love. We all run out of years, but we won't run out of love. Thank you. started working on that one this week. I appreciate y'all letting me do that. Y'all still with me over there? I know you guys are full and probably on another beer or whiskey. How are y'all doing? Are y'all ordering food or we just drinking? Okay. I like that. Cheers. Me too. I don't get to eat up here. This is a song I wrote years ago. Sometimes you claim you know what songs are about, and 99% of the time you're not really sure what you wrote them about. It's just kind of a collective of things going on in your life, and you try to tie it together. And but this one, I dated one of my teachers in college, and this is kind of a sad song, but if it weren't for her, I guess I wouldn't have it. So this one's called Evelyn Roy. Well, he came to town, he called her on down, said, Evelyn Roy, you got a beautiful face. She turned around and glared in her gown. Evelyn Roy, you've got beautiful taste. Well, he said that he would make up for thee things that were lost and the times that were gone. She cracked a grin, for she knew within that a poor boy and a heartbreaker heal on their own. She said, you cannot hold what you did not stand by. Guess the weight of my world did not fit you right. Oh, don't hold on loosely. Good luck, goodbye, and good night. Tomorrow he will crawl from his sheets. His head will be aching, his bones will adjust. Alone in her sheets, she'll show her teeth. Evelyn Roy, you've done just what you must. She said, you cannot change what you've done in my life. Guess the weight of my world did not fit you right. Oh, don't hold on loosely. Good luck, goodbye, and good night. She said, you cannot hold what you did not stand by. Guess the weight of my world did not fit you right. Oh, and don't hold on loosely. Good luck, goodbye, and good night. Good luck, goodbye, and good night. How about a John Prine tune? We on board for that? You guys got closer. I like that. You guys want to get up here with me? How about this one's called Carousel of Love. going down to ride a merry-go-round in the middle of a bad storm. I feel a little forlorn. Your man blows a mean horn. I think my baby's stuck on a roller coaster looking for a sad song. I gotta get her on track with this carousel of love. If our love is gonna last, then you know it's gonna have to go the long way. There's 100 million wrong ways, searching for a strong way. Take my hand, I'll always be your man, and I'll always go the right way. Down the highway that leads to this carousel of love. If I could only go back in time to at least last Tuesday, it wouldn't be a blues day, or maybe April Fool's Day. I'd buy her flowers and I'd tell her that tomorrow might be a better news day. And then I'd take her for a ride on this carousel of love. I grew up listening to guys like John Prine, and one thing that always amazed me about them is a lot of guys take their best lines that they've ever written and they make them the hooks in a chorus, right? And when you listen to John Prine, he buries all these lines in the middle of verses that most guys would have killed to have written once in their life. And he's just got them stacked in verses throughout records and albums. And I always thought that was so amazing. You know, that inspired me as a kid. I was like, man, you don't have to take all your best ones and make them hooks, you know? And that was always the magic of his songwriting to me. And that's why there's only one John Prine, and why he's, in my mind, one of the best to ever do it. And by y'all's heads nodding, I think we all agree on that. And unfortunately, you know, I got to see him in Justin Towns Earl a couple years ago at the University of Houston. I'm so glad I did. But here's to Mr. John Prine, y'all. I'd like to do one that, as y'all can tell by now, I just like to finger pick and ramble over melodies, right? I enjoy the craft of trying to tell stories through songs and paint pictures for people. I kind of look at songwriting sometimes like movies or movie scenes where there's, you know, it's not just one single point of something going on in life. It's a story, and it flows, and it gets you at the beginning and it heals you at the end, and all those kind of really cool dynamics that you can pull out of songwriting. And I was looking at an old, I had an old leather-bound book that was just oil paintings of Western scene, like just Western paintings. And I was at the time I was reading Lonesome Dove, so I would read Lonesome Dove, and then I'd look at these oil paintings, and I was kind of in that mode for a long time. And there was this one where there was a cowboy. It was about 3 or 4 cowboys falling out of a bar, and there were cards and guns and coffee and horses, and there was I was a Native American on this side of the street, and everybody was shooting at each other, and it was one of those pictures that you look at and it looks like it's moving, you know? It's not. It's an oil painting, but the artist was so talented that it literally looked like something was playing out in front of your eyes, you know? And I don't know how he did it, but the artist painted the face on the center of the picture was a cowboy who had his hand over his heart, and he was bleeding, and he had a gun in his hand, but something about the look in his eyes and something about the face on this man, you could tell he wasn't done. Like he still had something to fight for, you know? He was still going for something. And I started to think, I was like, you know, it's got to be matters of the heart that make you try that hard in life, you know, when you're completely down and out. And so in my mind, I figured he was trying to get back across the West to, you know, the woman that he loved. And that was kind of where my brain went with it. And I wrote this song kind of based around that idea. but I call it Mary. Riding out, blood and glory, spilling out, cards and coffee. Oh, the good Lord better hold me oh so tight. I've been a good man, but I've rambled. I've got a strong heart, but I've gambled. And my horse is so damn tired he can't look up. Where is she now? Does she remember? Is she off with someone gentler? Gates are swinging, hell is ringing in my ears. I've come a long way, Mary, way too long to lay down here. Born a lover, turned a fighter, hammer down on the iron, leaving traces in the dust clouds in the street. I fought to get to her front door, and I'll fight to be with her once more. Make no mistake here, I am nobody's friend. Where is she now? Does she remember? Is she off with someone gentler? Gates are swinging, hell is ringing in my ears. I've come a long way, Mary, way too long to lay down here. She said, if you play with pistols, boy, you best not come my way. But I said, oh, sweet Mary, they're my only way to you. If I reach the edge of town, I lay 'em down if I make it through. But where is she now? Does she remember? Is she off with someone gentler? Gates are swinging, hell is ringing in my ears. I've come a long way, Mary, way too long to lay down here. I've come a long way, Mary, way too long to lay down here. Thank you. All right, we're going to pick up the pace just a little bit. This is just a country tune. Excuse me, y'all. Well, hell, I'll just tell y'all the story. It's at my expense. So the pandemic that happened last year, I know we remember that. We don't need a refresher. Right as the pandemic started, I met a young lady on Instagram, which is not a good idea. Not before pandemic. Not before they shut down the airlines and you're in South Carolina with her. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. I flew out there and the Fox News, CNN, they all said the world shut down and you couldn't get a plane ticket. And I'd known her about 3 weeks. And I got stuck in an apartment with her in South Carolina for 45 days. And I'm not making any of this up. I said it was at my expense, and it's, but I was sitting at a kitchen table one night and, of course, it didn't work out, in case you are wondering. And it's a real good way to get to know somebody, though. It's a real good way to just find out if it's going to work. And but I was sitting at a kitchen table one night, and I had this idea for a song, and it was at that point in the 45 days where I was just like, she would go to bed and I would sleep on the couch, and we didn't really talk during the day, you know. And so I spent a lot of time writing songs. And I was sitting at her kitchen table one night, and I had this idea for a song about when you know, some heartbreak. Sometimes you get out of a relationship and your heart's broken, and sometimes you're like a freight train out the front door. You just can't wait to get out of it, you know. You're literally just running out of the relationship. And this is about the latter, and I guess my title for it right now is Lonely. Those first words are always elusive sometimes. There we go. Well, the first time that I ever said I loved you, I meant it from the bottom of my heart. So it's standing in the rain, awful lonesome, lonely pain, just thinking of you and me apart. Well, the woman that I love no longer lives here. She fell in with a man I called a friend. So I'm stumbling through the day, just to each and every way, like a weather vane blowing in the wind. Honey, I don't take lightly all those things you said to me. So I won't go slowly as I walked out of your dreams. There ain't no lonely left in me. Well, December came too quickly for a heartache, wishing somehow I could disappear. 'Cause it's quiet and it's cold, and everybody knows that you have no one next to you to hold. So saddled up, I set my mind to running, but I never found no place for it to go. So I came in from the rain, blew the edge right off the pain, and got back out there bearing down the road. Honey, I don't take lightly all those things you said to me. So I won't go slowly as I walked out of your dreams. There ain't no lonely left in me. Said to me, so I won't go slowly as I walked out of your dreams. There ain't no lonely left in me. There ain't no lonely left in me. How about a Bob Dylan tune? I heard no no's. Actually, we'll do a Bob Dylan tune. I'll tell you something interesting about this one. Most of y'all know this, though, I'm pretty sure. It's called Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if and you don't know by now. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, it'll never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason that I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. Ain't no use in calling out my name, girl, like you never done before. Ain't no use in calling out my name, girl, I can't hear you anymore. I wish there was something you would do or say to try and make me change my mind and stay. We never did too much talking anyway. Don't think twice, it's alright. Ain't no use of turning on your light, babe, a light I never know. Ain't no use in turning on your light, babe, I'm on the dark side of the road. I'm a-thinking and a-wondering, walking down the road. I once loved a woman, a child I am told. Gave her my heart, but she wanted my soul. But don't think twice, it's alright. So long, honey, babe, where I'm bound, I can't tell. Oh, goodbye is too good a word, babe, so I just say fare thee well. I ain't saying you treated me unkind, I could have done better, but I don't mind. You just kinda wasted my precious kind. But don't think twice, it's alright. I said don't think twice, it's alright. So, him and Johnny Cash were really good friends. And Johnny Cash heard that song, he wrote a bunch of verses to it, and he had his own thing, and Cash's version of it went like this. We'll play a little bit of it. The first evasive line once again, y'all. Oh. You can give my other suit to the Salvation Army. Anything else I leave behind. I ain't taking nothing that'll slow down my traveling while I'm untangling my mind. I ain't gonna repeat what I said anymore while I'm breathing air that ain't been breathed before. I'll be as gone as a wild goose in winter, then you'll understand your man. Understand your man. I always thought that was the coolest thing in the world. He just took Dylan's song and he was just like, hey man, here's another version of it. And Dylan was like, cool. You record it your way and I record it my way. But that's the cool thing about songwriting. And I don't know if people are a lot like that. I don't know if nowadays you could just take somebody's song and say, hey, I'm going to take the same melody and put new words to it, if they would be as friendly as those two guys were. But I learned that on the, it may be in the Ken Burns documentary of country music. Have y'all seen that? Oh man, if y'all haven't, I think it's on every streaming platform you can be on now. But it's like a 7 or 8 part series, am I right? And it's the history of country music from the Carter family to Ken Burns, Kenburns. It's called The History of Country Music. They literally start in the late 1800s, and they start with, basically people coming out of the hills and the woods playing homemade banjos and stuff like that. The Carter family all the way to, Taylor Swift or anybody nowadays. And it is everything you ever wanted to know about country music. And obviously you guys are country music fans, so it's one of those things like you'll call in sick to work. It's that good. I play a song, me and a guy by the name of Josh Abbott wrote this song. And we were talking one day about how Texas is a lot different than it used to be. I'm not the oldest person in the room, but I'm not, when I grew up in Conroe before what we call the boom happened, and we had the run of the town to ourselves, and we spent a lot of time working cows with our grandfather and doing stuff like that, and, kind of running wild. And as we keep going, Texas, just the highways get bigger and the towns get bigger, and all the things that we kind of knew when we were younger really changing. And this is just from my generation, from a 35-year-old perspective, looking at the state of Texas. And we got to talking about this, and one of us in the room said, well, money always talks, but it doesn't speak country no more. And we were like, hey, that's a song, And so we sat down one day and we decided to pen this one together. And I just kind of took some stories from home and things like that. And I'd like to do it for you. It's called Money Always Talks. It's the way I walk, this laid-back way I talk, and all these Yankees moving here, they don't get me at all. All the ranches I know, going down with the setting sun, divided 5 acres and the family's gone. And this wide-eyed living's getting harder on these country roads, sitting on the high line looking up in worn-out boots. They sell it as progress, and we buy it like before. Yeah, money always talks, but it don't speak country no more. My buddy Clay down the road pulled into town with his last full load. What they gave him for his calves has hit a new low. It was a hay-stream town. Houston was all day down. Now it's a 4-lane, 2-way sunrise turnaround. This wide-eyed living's getting harder on these country roads, sitting on the high line looking up in worn-out boots. They sell it as progress, progress, we buy it like before. Yeah, money always talks, but it don't speak country no more. I need a county line, a laid-back smile and a cafe sign, 'cause this wide-eyed living is harder on these country roads. Sitting on the high line, looking up in worn-out boots. They sell it as progress, we buy it like before. Yeah, money always talks, but it don't speak country no more. No more. Thank you guys. And thank y'all for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I'm going to know every one of y'all's names before I leave here tonight. I'm going to play one I wrote about getting out of a scene I should not have been in. Sometimes it takes you a little while to realize that you're, or at least in my experience, you are where you should not be. And you kind of have to go through trials and tribulations for life to wake you up one day in some instances. And I wrote this song, this is called Pocket Aces. Southern fried inside a truck stop, holding out for some old drug. Worn out western way of living, wondering was I good enough. I ain't here for a lover, I did not come here for a song. Can I tell you where I come from? I don't remember what went wrong. I showed up holding pocket aces, burning through my dreams. To hell with all this time I've wasted coming down and getting clean. Leaning in on a memory, just another debutante. Running from a country melody, some dreamer younger me had bought. So goodbye to wherever I couldn't crawl out of a bar. I think I owe more to my liver than I ever will my heart. I showed up holding pocket aces, burning through my dreams. To hell with all this time I've wasted coming down and getting clean. Guess I'm here in depression, wondering what I could have been. Too to the faces in my rear view, I believe we've reached the end. I showed up holding pocket aces, burning through my dreams. To hell with all this time I've wasted coming down and getting clean, getting clean. I got a couple more for you guys. We're going to save a Robert Earl Keen tune for a little later. I spent a lot of time in my childhood growing up in a town called Crockett, Texas, if y'all are familiar with it. Out there in, you know, they used to, I think they probably logged every tree in that county at one point, you know. And, yes, sir, yeah. And so we grew up running those roads with my grandfather and my cousins. And one time my cousin came home, he said, I wrote a song about Crockett. I was like, really? And he played it for me. It's through the eyes of somebody that had to do with all the logging stuff back then. And you know, a lot of towns, things change a lot, especially in this state. But in Crockett, as much as that it's changed over the years, all the logging, all the stuff that comes through there, Crockett's still one of those little towns in Texas that's just sleepy. You know, it's quiet. You can go there, you can get away from the city, and you can see stars, and your cell phone doesn't work. And it's a really beautiful part of the world. And I don't think a lot of people understand how pretty East Texas is. And so he wrote this song with all of that kind of stuff in mind, and he called it Crockett, Texas. And I'd like to do it for you. Tell you what, we'll do it down there. Not every treasure you find is silver or gold. No reason to believe all you've been told. I got stuck up in these pine trees, a sleepy little town. But not everything that's lost needs to be found. Not everything that's lost needs to be found. The loggers log the pine trees to a chainsaw's tune. There won't be too much left to log around here soon. I'm riding in my pickup, letting time pass me by. Yeah, I'll keep on till the stars burn out and the county lake runs dry. I'll keep on till the stars burn out and the county lake runs dry. Well, Murphy sits on the corner and picks his guitar all day long for a quarter or an ear for his song. These old lonesome houses were the nightmares of his kin. But those times are gone and we all know they ain't coming back again. Those times are gone and we all know they ain't coming back again. Not every treasure you find is a silver or gold, or no reason to believe all you've been told. I got stuck up in these pine trees, a sleepy little town. And not everything that's lost trace my life through these pictures on the shelf. My friends' laughing eyes, they are staring back at me. It's times like these I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be. It's times like these I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be. You know there ain't much going on since the oil boom failed, hauled the timber out on the iron rails. That old lonesome whistle winds and slices through the night, and I gaze into the darkness at the distant dancing lights. I gaze into the darkness at the distant dancing lights. 'Cause not every treasure you find is silver or gold, but no reason to believe all you've been told. I got stuck up in these pine trees, a sleepy little town. Not everything that's lost needs to be found. Not everything that's lost needs to be found. I did not know my shirt was unbuttoned that low, y'all. Well, I got a couple more songs for you guys. My name is Tyler McCollum. I really appreciate y'all hanging out, just sitting here and listening to me ramble on and sing songs I wrote, and cover a couple John Prine, Todd Snyder, and Robert Earl Keen songs. It's hard to go wrong with those, you know. And but cheers, guys. Thank you very much. And I've talked about my grandpa a couple times through this, throughout the night. And this next song I wrote about him, and I wrote it from the perspective of somebody asked me if I had a time machine, where would I go? And I said I'd go to being about 12 years old, working cows with my grandfather in the summer. I was like, because I don't know if that's about as happy as you can be in my life. You know, we literally would. I mean, we were like 13 or 14 years old. He'd give us a 1-ton black dually with a gooseneck trailer on it full of bulls and be like, I'll see y'all in Crockett, you know, from Groesbeck where we would be at. And we're 13 years old, and he'd give us a 6-pack of Bud Light, and we just haul cows across Texas, you know. And I don't know if you can do things like that anymore. And I remember when we were, every morning when we'd work with him, the one fact that I learned is you cannot wake up before your grandfather. It is physically impossible to do. But we'd wake up, and you hear his diesel running out there, you know, because he took notes on everything he did. And he'd always get up early, and he'd go out in his truck, and he'd take notes, and he would chew on cigars for hours before he'd ever light one. And he'd be out there just taking notes about how many cows we'd moved the day before, and then, you know, what we were doing today, and who didn't show up to work yesterday, and who did. And we'd get dressed, and we'd run as fast as we could out there, and we'd get in the truck, and you know, then we'd like go to Dairy Queen in town, you know, and we go eat breakfast, and we finally get to work around 11:30, you know. And so, but like those kind of memories as a kid, I don't know if all kids get to grow up like that. So I always cherish the fact that, you know, I got to run around working cows and doing that kind of stuff with my family, my grandfather, my cousins, and I wrote this song about the time somebody asked me if I had a time machine, where would I go? And because people were naming all the cool stuff in history, and I was like, I go to being 12 years old with my grandfather, you know, and they were like, what? I was like, well, you know, if you were there, you'd understand. And he passed a couple years ago, so this one goes out to my grandfather, Mr. Bobby Yancey. Well, these old white lines used to make me shiver. Too many running side by side. But in the arms of your mother, only shoulder that you loved her, never knew you were the highway kind. Ain't no difference in direction, just a matter of your reason. Keep it close, it was yours to begin. And the fire in your mind's gonna take its sweet time, leave you wondering why you ever win. If you know what you believe, then make it what you see. It's never too far off anyway. 'Cause all that you know is when that sun sets low, you can't go back and light up your day. A darling in the breeze, a darling's what you need to keep your mind off of the weight. And your brim's hanging down, it's pointing at the ground. All you did was close your eyes in the shade. Sometimes I dream about where I'd go, with a trailer and a time machine and an open road. I'd go to Grandpa waiting outside in a diesel, shaking and idling on gravel and stone. Well, your head wants things that your heart can't handle, tough times in the city alone. How do you friend a road that never ends? How the hell did you get this far on your own? It's a crazy way to live, just another 80s kid with a trend for staying out late. When outside of town there's a brand new sound, and you can't escape the way you were raised. Well, sometimes I dream about where I'd go, with a trailer and a time machine and an open road. I'd go to Grandpa waiting outside in a diesel, shaking and idling on gravel and stone. Sometimes I dream about where I'd go, with a trailer and a time machine and an open road. I'd go to Grandpa waiting outside in a diesel, shaking and idling on gravel and stone. I'd go to Grandpa waiting outside in a diesel, shaking and idling on gravel and stone. Thank you, brother. All right, I'm gonna do 2 more songs, guys, and then you guys are free to go. Might have a drink at the bar if you stick around, though. I was, man, I just like telling the truth on stage, you know? I just like kind of like telling y'all about my life and just things like that. And I like to dress up stories sometimes, and some of the things I've said are not true at all, but most of them are. And this is a true one. I got married and divorced in my 20s and early 30s. And when I was going through my divorce, I couldn't sleep at my house that night, and so I had a crew cab Chevrolet Silverado that I was, is the only place I had to sleep that night. And I went and parked it in a cul-de-sac, and I just leaned the seat back. And if you've ever owned a Chevrolet and you've tried to sleep in the Chevrolet that you own, you know the dashboard light, just all night long. It never goes off, right? And so I couldn't sleep. I had a bunch of stuff on my mind, and I was trying to sleep, and that damn yellow light just kept going off, and I could not make myself go to sleep. And so I just sat up and wrote this song. And one of the lines in there is about the dashboard light, so she makes an appearance. And but this is called No Words. And I'll do this, and then I'm going to finish with one of my favorite songs. And then I'd like to meet each and every one of you that's here tonight. And thank you guys for hanging out. Frustrates me that it only goes one way. These empty halls and yellow walls, closing signs, and I'm out here alone. But you can't convince me I was wrong. Oh no, love, I ain't got no words. I ain't got no words for you, my dear. I just ain't that lonely yet. Well, you're a world away and right down the road. I'm just looking for some place that I can go. And the air is as cold as the words that you screamed. Dashboard light keeps making it hard to sleep. But you can't convince me I was wrong. Oh no, love, I ain't got no words. I ain't got no words for you, my dear. I just ain't that lonely yet. I ain't got no words. Oh, I ain't got no words for you, my dear. I just ain't that lonely yet. The past is long gone. The words are all wrong. I can't help the way I feel. Oh no, love, I ain't got no words. I ain't got no words for you, my dear. I just ain't that lonely yet. I ain't got no words. Oh, I ain't got no words for you, my dear. I just ain't that lonely yet. No, I just ain't that lonely yet. No, I just ain't that lonely yet. All right, guys, cheers. One more time. Thank you. My name is Tyler McCollum. I appreciate you guys hanging out and listening. And let's finish with a fun one. Standing out on Main Street across from Mr. Blues, my faded leather jacket, my weather-broken shoes. The chill north wind was blowing, but the spring was coming on. I wondered to myself just how long I had been gone. I I strolled across old Main Street, walked down a flight of stairs, stepped into the hall and saw that all my friends were there. A neon sign was flashing, welcome, come on in. It feels so good, feeling good again. My favorite band was playing an Otis Redding song. When they sang the chorus, everybody sang along. Dan and Margarita were swaying side by side. I heard they were divorcing, but I guess they let it slide. I wish to have some money with which to buy around. I wish to cash my paycheck before I came to town. I reached into my pocket, found 320s and a 10. Oh, it feels so good, feeling good again. There was old man Perkins sitting on a stoop, watching Butch and Jimmy John talk aloud and playing pool. The boys from Silver City were standing by the fire, singing like they thought they were the Tabernacle Choir. And I wanted you to see them all, I wish that you were there. I looked across the room, saw you standing on the stairs. And when I caught your eye, saw you break into a grin. Oh, it feels so good, feeling good again. I wanted you to see them all, I wish that you were there. I looked across the room, saw you standing on the stairs. And when I caught your eye, saw you break into a grin. Oh, it feels so good, feeling good again. Guys, my name is Tyler. Thank you guys so much, and thank you to the Mucky Duck. And I'm going to go have a drink. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Man, I thought about that one earlier.